Welcome to the Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a die-hard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. I want to thank you so much for listening. I love all my listeners and all the people that write their comments. Keep them coming. Please subscribe. I have a lot of viewers, but not as many subscribers. So please take the time to subscribe and like. It's over. The streak is over. The Pistons finally won a game after losing 29 in a row. We beat the Toronto Raptors 129 to 127, and it was not our best game. We played some better games and some losses, I think, recently, but it's still a huge relief for those guys, and they had some good moments. A lot of players stepped up, and some didn't quite step up, but it was still just a great win and great lift for those guys. And hopefully now we can just get on with it, and that weight is off their shoulders, and we can turn around and win some more games. And I think that we will have a real good month of January, even though we still have we're going out west right now, and so it's never easy when you go out west. But anyway, the first half we held the Raptors to 44 points. They shot like 30%. They couldn't make a shot. Second half, the Raptors scored 83 points, and it came down. We were up by 6 with 13 seconds to go, and we only won by 2. We missed some free throws, and we turned it over. So, but we hung in there. And like I said, Cade was great. Cade was 1 for 8 in the first half, 4 points. Second half, 8 for 12. And we've seen him do this before, where he's not done the greatest in the first half, but he just somehow finds it within himself and ended up having a great game. And he was the first time since Chauncey Billups that a Piston player has had at least 30 points, at least 10 assists, and 0 turnovers in a game. So that was a huge game for Cade, huge game for a lot of guys we're going to get into. Bogey missed some free throws at the end, and there was a technical foul. Well, it's not really a technical, but you get to shoot a free throw. So if you're inbounding the ball, we were inbounding the ball late, and they were denying the ball because they were desperate, and we were ahead in the closing seconds, and they grabbed Bogey, and they fouled him before the ball was inbounded. So if that happens, you automatically get a free throw, and then you get the ball back out of bounds again. Well, we could have chosen anybody we want to shoot the free throw, and the players kind of decide, I guess, who does it, but usually Cade shoots the technicals, and Cade was 10 for 10 tonight, but Bogey steps up there and misses it. So, I mean, that was just crazy that happened at the end of the game. But I don't know if you've noticed, Cade, I really think that his legs, they said that the shin that he had surgery on had been bothering him since even like high school. And so he had that surgery, and just now he had mentioned that his legs were feeling better. He was feeling better. Now he's been scoring and playing consistently great. And part of it, I think, is that Bogey's playing. I think that makes a difference for him. But I think his legs, because I've never seen him, he has more lift and more explosion. And he's not this freak athlete, but he, and that, I think it was against the Hawks, he had 3 dunks. And usually he only dunks if he has a breakaway and he can get his steps just right and he can dunk it. But he drove down in traffic in the half court and dunked on the Hawks. And then the game against Boston, he got up high on those blocks. He had 3 blocks against the Celtics, and that one that he blocked Tatum on that they ended up calling goaltending, he was up above the square, I think, when he blocked that one. And tonight the Raptors, they traded OG Anunoby, and I always say they got lucky that they got to get RJ Barrett and Quigley, and they get the Pistons second round draft pick, which we have traded a while back, and the Knicks had possession of it, and so that's going to be just like a first round pick, because there's still a really good chance that we'll finish last, and then so that would make that the 31st pick, the first pick in the second round. But they were playing without OG, and they traded Precious Achiuwa, who's a backup center for them, and they have played 3 games in 4 nights, and they just played the Celtics back to back. They lost to the Celtics 120 to 118, and Siakam had a huge game against them. He had 27 and 40. He played 41 minutes, and Scotty Barnes had 30 points, and he played 37 minutes. So those guys played a tough, hard game last night, and we had the night off, so that was to our advantage, and we almost let it slip away. Like I said, Cade struggled the first half, but they couldn't make a shot in the first half except for Schroeder or Shooter, whatever. he was hot in the first half, and he kept them in the game. Um, but there's still concerns. We can't just be happy. We won a game, and so I am thrilled that we won a game. But there's just some things I just still am troubled by. Asar, the biggest thing, I think, the number one priority. I've been saying it since before the season started, and you're going to hear me say it probably every podcast. The number one priority is what? Is to play the core four and to have those guys improve. And so we got to find out who's good, which one of those are our future, and if they're not, we got to know that, and we got to know going into the draft if we need players, who we need to draft at what position. We need to know which guys we want to sign or who we want to sign in free agency, and the only way we can find out is by playing those guys. And even more important, the only way that Asar Thompson can get better is by playing. And the thing is, he doesn't play bad. And so I saw a stat where he's in the 78th percentile of all NBA players in assist rate, which means, how many assists he gets for how many times he touches the ball. He's like 13% of the time. And that's highest in the top of the league, towards the top. And he just does a lot of things for you on the court. And instead, we're playing Isaiah Livers, and we'll talk more about him. And he's frustrating. He keeps on playing him, and one of my viewers called him, instead of Isaiah Livers, called him Isaiah Appendix, and so that was, I think, pretty funny. But there's a couple of times here's the thing about Duren was fabulous tonight. 17 rebounds, and he makes a huge difference. And so he's missed half our season. Bogey's missed half our season, so it would never have got to this. And plus, like I said before, we were bad down the stretch of games, and we weren't great tonight in the last minute of the game. But he gets rebounds, and he like holds the ball and then like hands it off underhanded and tosses it. It's like he wants everybody to say, "Look at me," instead of just getting it out as quick as you can. I want us to run. He needs to get the rebound and just pitch it and fast break. We're a fast breaking team. We could be a great fast breaking team, but we got to get the outlet quicker. And I know he doesn't get to shoot very much, and so he likes to get the credit for getting the rebound. So if he holds it a little bit longer and tosses underhanded, but I think he needs to get rid of it. And then tonight, at the end of the game, and he's not a good free throw shooter. He was 6 for 6 tonight, but they were pressing us, and Cade didn't get open like he should have, and other guys, nobody was open. So Duren ran up and got open and caught the ball, and we knew they were going to try to foul, but he had time to pass it to somebody else, and instead he just held on to it, and they fouled him. And so he wouldn't have been our first choice to go to the free throw line. So later, Monty was subbing him in and out. When we were on offense, he was subbing him out, and when we were on defense, he was subbing him back in. But he's still terrific, and I'm excited that he's on our team. But so Bogey played 37 minutes, an impressive 7 for 14, 50% from the floor, 2 for 6 on threes, and it still doesn't seem. And I love Bogey, but he gets wide open threes, and you just think after last year, it just seemed like he never missed an open three. It seemed like he never did, and he missed 4 threes, and some of them were wide open. He still hit some tough ones, but he was 3 for 5 on free throws, and again, those at the end of the game, you don't expect him to miss a free throw, and so he missed one. He missed a technical, and then he missed one right at the end of the game when it was real close or getting closer, and you thought we were going to seal it if he made it, and then he didn't. But he's rebounding. He had 7 rebounds tonight. He had a whole bunch of rebounds against the Celtics. And I'll tell you another thing though. He had a whole bunch of rebounds tonight. I bet he had 3 rebounds at least where the rebound came off the rim and he tipped it to somebody else. So they got the credit for the rebound. Bogey didn't get the credit. He just tipped it. And so I'm sure that he didn't get credit. But anyway, he had 3 assists, but 4 turnovers. And so we didn't have many turnovers tonight, but he had 4 of them. We had only 11. So he had 4 and Killian had 3. So he's got to do better. And some of his, you expect he's the veteran, and some of them are a little bit lackadaisical. And it's ironic that he was -4 tonight. So he had him and Duren was -6. So and Duren played a great game, but they were the 2 worst plus-minus guys on the team. Kevin Knox, who I'd rather have Sar start, but Kevin Knox, we don't win this game, I don't think, if Kevin Knox doesn't play. And he was 7 for 14 and played 31 minutes, but he was 3 for 8. I think he made his first I know he made his first 2 threes, I think, and he made 3 early, and then he must have missed everyone after that. But he had 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and 17 points. And again, we need to get guys. We need to get guys that step up, and come out of nowhere to win games. And he did that tonight. So during 34 minutes, 6 for 11, he was 2 for his first 8. So he did really good after that. So he missed easy ones. They were right by the basket, and he just missed them. But he was 6 for 6 from the line, which is huge. He had 17 rebounds. It's awesome. 2 assists and 1 turnover, 18 points. So great game for Duren. And Cade, 38 minutes, 9 for 20. And again, so he shot really great, 8 for 12 in the second half, 1 for 8 in the first half. But he um, 10 for 10 on free throws. So he's getting to the line. He's scoring 30 points a game. He had 3 rebounds, but 12 assists. So he's passing the ball. He's averaging a lot of assists and a lot less turnovers recently. So Ivy struggled. Ivy couldn't make a shot. Well, one problem is Jaden Ivey doesn't touch the ball enough. He was 1 for 5, and then he even was struggling. He was 1 for 3 on threes, but he hit a big 3 in the second half. 9 for 12 on free throws, and the first ones that he missed, his form is just not the same. He doesn't extend his arm. His arm's going out, and his arm ends up a little bit bent. So you watch that. If his arm doesn't go all the way up, and there's not full extension at the elbow, he misses. And that's how he shot at the beginning of last year, and then he rectified it. And Rex Kalanian and John Beeline worked with him a lot on his shot, and he significantly improved it. And I think, like I said, this start of this year, he was shooting the lights out, and he was shooting 80% on free throws. And so anyway, I still believe in him, and he still had 4 offensive rebounds. Again, he's down there fighting for him every single time. And he's quick and fast, and he can get up quick and fast, and he's just got his nose in there. He had 5 rebounds overall, 4 assists, and only 1 turnover, and had 12 points. And so, like I said, it's ironic that Monty, when he was shooting 50% and over 40% on threes and 80% on free throws, he couldn't get off the bench hardly. And now he's getting to play more, and he just needs to keep on playing more. But okay, Isaiah Appendix, he played 12 minutes, and he was 18 minutes. Not excuse me, Asar played only 12. He played 18 minutes, and he was 1 for 2 on threes and 1 for 2. That's all he shot was 2 threes. But he played 18 minutes. He had 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover. He had 3 fouls. So we put him in there for defense, and guys blow by him. He had 3 fouls, and he was in there at the end of the game, and we just got to stop him. But they make a direct line drive to the basket, and then they go by him, and as they get by him, he tries to catch up to him, and then he fouls him. And that was bothersome. And so another thing that bothered me tonight is, and again, it's a continual problem, people are hunting Bogey. On defense, when he's on defense, whoever he's guarding, they're going to try to clear out and get him the ball. And for the life of me, he ended up guarding Siakam. Siakam has 35 points. We can't stop him. And why we never doubled Siakam once? We never tried to take the ball out of his hand. He was cooking in the second half. He made tough shot after tough shot. Nobody on our team probably could guard him. I still would like to see Asar try to guard him, but in the second half, I don't know if there's anybody in the NBA that was going to stop him. But why is Bogey guarding him? So, and then why don't we help him and double him and try to get the ball out of his hands when he's that hot? So, Scotty Barnes was 8 for 20, and he ended up with 22 points, but he really struggled at first. But they were the benefit of Gary Trent Jr. I used to watch his dad play, and he was 6 for 9 on threes, and so that was huge for them. And he had 24 points, and Schroeder had 30 points, and he was the MVP in the World Cup games or whatever it was. He plays for Germany, and so yeah, it was a tougher game than I thought it was going to be. They ended up shooting 50%, even though the first half they probably shot 30%. So the second half they shot like over 60%, I'm guessing. And they were shooting really bad on threes, and they ended up shooting really good on threes at the end of the game. So they ended up shooting 12 for 24, and so they made almost every 3 in the second half. Asar again, 12 minutes, 2 for 4, and he was 0 for 2 on threes, but he made one of his shots that he made. One of his two shots that he made was right at the 3-point line. He just stepped his toe on the line, so he would have had a three tonight, but it ended up being a two. So he had 1 rebound, 6 points, 2 for 2 on free throws. They were big free throws. I was nervous for him, but please, Monty, let him play 30 minutes a game and see what happens. And we're gonna go play next game on January 1st, New Year's Day. We're playing at Houston, and like I've been saying, that they're gonna have the double. It's a big celebration. Um, so the game on the 12th when we play them is going to be on ESPN. It's our only ESPN game, unless they change it. They might try to change it because the Pistons are bad, but I think they'll keep it. But the reason they scheduled that game for ESPN, our only real national televised game, is because of the Twins playing each other, and they were highly rated coming in. And again, Nassar was playing 30 minutes a game for the first half of the season, and he played great. And I'm going to beat a dead horse, but nobody, Livers gets to play, and he's not played well. He's not played well, and Knox was good tonight, but he's not always good. And why can't Asar play more minutes? So Killian's just coming back from that sickness, and he struggled really bad. First 6 minutes in the first half, he played 6 minutes, and he had 3 turnovers in 6 minutes. So he ended up playing 10 minutes. He was 0 for 2, and he's a fragile guy. And when he plays bad, he's not as bad as he plays. But it's been his whole career. So he can have some stretches where he shoots okay, but he lets things get to him and he struggles. But he had 3 turnovers and 0 points. He did have 4 assists, and that's incredible to have 4 assists. But our second unit struggles, and so we play our second unit. He always says, "I'm not going to play all 5 second unit bench unit," and he still does it every game. He does it every half of every game. And when he doesn't do it, he subs out Bogey a little bit earlier, and he puts Bogey in with 4 bench players. But that hasn't worked out well. He's got to figure that out, and they get 24-second violations even, besides turning it over and not scoring very much. They did a little bit better tonight, but they still had a 24-second violation. So like I said, I talked to you about staggering your star players, and I just told the 76ers, when Embiid's playing, they either have Embiid or Maxey on the floor every second of the game. And so I don't know why Monty can't figure it out, but so here's the thing: we've had. It looks like there's a very good chance that we're going to have the worst record in the league, and since 2000, it's going to be one of the worst records. I've said I think that we're going to win some games in January, and I counted today. I know you can say it was the 30th. I looked at the schedule a month ago and said I think we're going to win. I think Duren will get back, and Bogey, if nobody else gets hurt, we're going to win some games. Again, this next little stretch is going to be hard, but here's what us Detroit fans go through. Since 2000, the year 2000, of the 4 major sports, we've had the worst record, single season worst record. So the Lions in 2008, that was the season, the 0-16 team. The Tigers in 2003, 43 and 119 we lost. It was most in the American League history. The Mets were the only team that I think had lost more than 119 games. The Wings in 2020 had 1920 season, won 17 games only and lost 49. I think they might have had 5 ties. And then now our Pistons, if they end up with the worst record since 2000, we'll see if they do or not. So I still think there's a chance. But I don't know if there's this guy in Detroit, his name's Mob, and his house was vandalized. And somebody threw some bricks through his window and broke his windows and stuff. And he was so nervous, he was shaking. And he finally stopped shaking, and he called the police, and the police came in, and they came right away, and they asked him, they said, "Do you have any idea who did this?" And he said, "Alec Burks." Burks shot good tonight, so I said that before I gave out his stat line, because he's struggled terribly, and he shot a lot of bricks this season, but tonight and he didn't play much in the second half, I don't think. But in the first half, he was keeping us in the game. But he played 19 minutes. He was 4 for 6. He was 3 for 4 on threes. It says in the stats he was 3 for 3, but he missed one. He took a real bad three, real contested three, and missed it. But he was 5 for 5 on free throws. He had 0 rebounds and 1 assist, but he played good tonight. And then Wiseman, again, I keep on saying, I talked to a friend of mine today, and Wiseman's the worst player in the league. And he played 13 minutes. He was 4 for 4. He had 4 rebounds. He had 4 block shots. He scored 8 points in 13 minutes. And he's had games like that. Maybe not quite this good, but he's had other games where he's been like made every shot and got a bunch of rebounds and blocked some shots, or at least contested some shots. So he wasn't the worst player in the league tonight. But anyway, I am thrilled that we got that monkey off our back. And if you're watching the Lions game, our coach, that's crazy. We're on inside our own 30, and he faked a punt, and he made it. And then the Lions ran the ball down the field, and they had the ball at like about the 5-yard line. Instead of kicking the field goal with the score 7-3, he goes for it, and we get squashed, and then we don't score. And so it was 7-3 at halftime. I don't know if the second half has started, but anyway, we're playing at the Rockets on January 1st, at the Jazz January 3rd. And I like this. I like playing every other day. I think the players get in a good rhythm. Then we got to play at the Warriors. The Warriors have been struggling. The Jazz are going to have Markkanen didn't play against us, and so he'll be playing against us. And then we got to go play at the Nuggets on the 7th, and they're world champs. And then we play at home against the Kings on the 9th, and then we play home against the Spurs on the 10th. So we're going to be playing back to back when we play the Spurs, and they're going to be having 2 days off. And like tonight, we barely won. We were fortunate. It does make a difference if you from one team that's playing back to back and the other team's not. But it doesn't always guarantee that the team that's playing back to back is going to lose. It doesn't. So, but the Spurs have struggled. They did win a game lately. They beat they beat the Blazers, and then the Blazers turned around and beat them. But I think Wemby had just a sensational game. So that's going to be fun to get to watch him play. But anyway, I'm relieved the streak's over. I know we got a lot of national press. We're on every podcast, and usually nobody talks about the Pistons. And so we're going to go back to our normal lives. I hope you still keep on listening to the Piston Fanatic podcast. And please, again, subscribe and like, and be the reason that someone feels valued and heard. And go Pistons.